I want to talk to you tonight about nutritional and preventive medicine. And I know many of you have read my books, but many of you have not. But I want you to realize I have not always recommended nutritional supplements to my patients. I'm a traditional physician. I was drug-oriented, I was disease-oriented, I knew how to treat disease, I knew how to diagnose disease. But I was taught in medical school that you did not need to take supplements. All you needed was to eat a healthy diet. All that supplements did was create expensive urine. And that was what I told my patients for over 20 years. In fact, I would do everything I could to get my patients off supplements. So what changed? What happened? Well, it's this lady. She changed my perspective, my life, and she's the love of my life. This is my wife, Elizabeth. And we were married in 1981. We just celebrated our 38th wedding anniversary. She suffers from an illness called fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. And when she married me, a physician, she thought her health would improve. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every year she got worse and worse and worse. And she stated over and over again that when she was 40, she felt like she was 80. But in 1995, she came down with a serious pneumonia. And we got her through the pneumonia, but she was left with a very serious chronic fatigue. And in fact, she was unable to get out of bed for more than maybe 1 hour a day. And this went on month after month after month, in spite of seeing 4 different medical specialists that placed her on 9 prescription drugs. There's nothing tougher for a physician to not even be able to help his spouse. And so what happened was the fact that one day, after about 4 or 5 months, because the physician said they didn't know if she'd get better, if she'd ever improve, what would happen. And so a lady brought over some nutritional supplements. But my wife, she said, they help my husband. You should try them. Well, my wife knew how I felt about supplements. So when I came home that night, she kind of said, this lady brought over the supplements, you know, can I take them? And I says, honey, you can do anything. We in the medical field aren't helping you one bit. And when you suffer and see your wife suffer, day after day, I said, honey, you start the supplements. Try it. Well, there was a change. Well, you know what? You know, my wife is here. I'm going to have her share her story. So come on out, Lynn.
Thrilled to be here. It's all of our life. We've read the scriptures and we wanted to visit here, so we're very excited and thankful. And I'm thankful that you invited us to speak tonight, and I'm so excited to share with you my story in the hopes that there's some others out in the audience that maybe are struggling with their health too, and they need some hope and some encouragement, and that's really why we're here tonight. I didn't think he would let me take the supplements because of his negativity all those years, but we were desperate and we had tried everything traditionally. So we decided, we did check in, we made sure that it was high quality product and checked out the company and did all of that. And then I started taking the supplements. And it was just within a week or two, I kind of said, you know, I think I could go out in the car. Let's go for a ride. And that was the beginning. And then each and every day I got a little stronger. And then over the next 2 months, I was getting out all the time. And then my health continued to improve for the next 2 to 3 years. This takes time. It's not a magic pill. It's not a prescription like a drug where the doctor gives it to you and says, you'll be better in 2 or 3 days, you should be feeling better. This is based on new cells in your body that are growing, and when you have optimal nutrition on board, those cells are healthier and your body can begin to heal, in my opinion, okay? So that went on for a while, and excuse me. And of course, as I got well, people noticed it, and I got very excited about telling others about the possibility that they could be helped too, that their health could improve, whether they were an athlete, whether they were struggling with a virus or a cancer recovery. And I also found out that there are several million people in the United States that have fibromyalgia. And it's a very painful situation. I can just tell you that. And I've heard that there's some here tonight that are going to be here listening to this that have fibromyalgia. So my story really goes, excuse me, to the point where I was able to start getting active again, and every year I've gotten healthier. 8 years ago, we heard about a company that was going to even try to do it better than the products we were using, and we decided to jump in there, and my health went to another higher level at that point. And that's really when I started begin to train horses again, and I still ride. I'm 68 years old. We have a ranch.
You ride 2 horses a day?
2 or 3 a day, if I can, at least 2. And my barn manager that helps run the ranch is my husband. And he's very supportive, but we've made a decision not even to have employees because we get up in the morning, we have a lot of physical work to do, and I'm just so thankful that I can do physical work and that I have the energy and ability to travel such a long distance and speak with you. There was times I could never travel. I could never do any of this.
Thank you. Just so you know, within 3 months, she was off all 9 prescription drugs. And her health improved more and more. I had never seen this before. And so I was wondering, I had been telling my patients they shouldn't take supplements. Was I telling them the wrong thing? Well, you have to know me. I had to research. I had to know if this was a miracle or if truly these vitamins helped her health when we couldn't do it. And I want to share with you my journey and my story of my conversion to now entering nutritional medicine. What I learned is that oxygen, even though it's necessary for life, there's a dark side to oxygen as we utilize oxygen within the battery or furnace of the cell to create energy and life itself. Occasionally, we create what we call a free radical, which is a charged oxygen molecule. It actually has an electrical charge and has very rapid movement. And if it's not readily neutralized by an antioxidant, it can go on to create more volatile free radicals. It can damage the cell wall, vessel wall, fats, proteins, and even the DNA nucleus of the cell. What we found is that this process is really we're rusting inside. In other words, the same process that turns a cut apple brown or rusts metal is rusting you and I inside. It is called oxidative stress. This is very well documented in the medical literature. And in fact, right now, over 100 of these chronic degenerative diseases that you and I would love to avoid is the result or the root cause is this oxidative stress. It's been well documented. Diseases like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, and the list goes on and on. But trust me, this is what I'm trying to treat in my office. This is what I was doing. But if my patients understood oxidative stress and understood how the best way to prevent this is to understand that disease, chronic disease, is silent. You don't feel anything. How do you feel when your arteries are becoming hardened, or you have early cancer, or you're developing diabetes? You feel nothing. It's silent. So what I tell my patients is you're either slowly losing your health unless you're proactive in trying to protect your health. But what is happening is chronic disease is the result of very small changes that occur over a prolonged period of time. Now, that's a good thing because it gives you and I, my patients, an opportunity to intervene to change the course of disease. That's what I teach. That's what I do. But my patients basically feel healthy. They feel great until they lose their health. Do you know that's what a physician does? That's all I do every day of my life, is I'm telling a patient they've lost their health to one degree or another every day of my life. You have diabetes. Oh, we just diagnosed breast cancer. Or you have heart disease. It goes on and on. So what I want is the fact that I have realized the best thing to do is try to prevent disease, because we as physicians, or antioxidants here, are our great allies. They're our great protector because they have the ability to neutralize those free radicals and render them harmless. And so it all becomes a product of what we call balance. Balance is the key. You want to have more antioxidants available than the number of free radicals you're producing. If you do, you have no oxidative stress. I can actually see patients who are coming in with illness or with any kind of a disease. I can see it almost in their skin. They're ashen, their color is different. You can see it. I know something's going on. But this is oxidative stress. But the principle that I've used in my medical practice is balance is the key. But I had to look and search for the medical evidence that demanded a verdict for me. Should my patients be taking nutritional supplements? Well, I have spent the last 24 years searching the medical literature and studying the health benefits my patients could receive if they took high quality, complete and balanced nutritional supplements. Because I realized that our bodies are the best defense in preventing preventing these diseases, and not the drugs I prescribe. This is very important. So what we find is that we are suffering. So many of my patients are suffering for years with rheumatoid arthritis or diabetes, or they're losing their vision, they're losing their kidneys, they're losing their health, or they have a sudden stroke and their life is totally changed. Because what's happening, we're living too short, but we're dying too long because of these chronic diseases. So what I have been doing is going out and sharing the true wellness preventive medicine that we need to, because my patients today, they're more concerned about the quality of the life and not as interested anymore in the numbers of years in their life. Because let's say I never talk to people, I'm going to extend your life, you're going to live forever. Trust me, if you take supplements, we'll all die. We'll all, we're there, but it's the quality of life that we live. And this is what's important to my patients. And so when I talk about wellness and preventive medicine, this is key of what I have learned. And so we understand, and I want to share, we as physicians, we diagnose disease at the very last stages. Physicians spend all their time treating acute end-stage disease. We're putting out fires. They're just so busy treating disease. Did you realize the first sign of heart disease, the very first sign of heart disease over half the time is sudden death or a heart attack? They feel fine. All of a sudden, there it is. People don't know they're going to have a stroke. All of a sudden, there it is. We diagnose cancers in the very last stages. That's why when people get pancreatic cancer or they have a brain tumor, it's been going on for decades. But we diagnose it at the very end stage because that's when the symptoms come. So this is where we are. But I have learned a concept when I read the medical literature. What you find is they research nutritional supplements like they do drugs. They'll do a study on vitamin E, or they'll do a study on vitamin C, or maybe magnesium, or vitamin D. That's just the way they do their research. What's amazing to me, though, is the fact that they find that if you get to these optimal or advanced levels, that the overwhelming majority of those studies show a health benefit. My patients could receive by taking vitamin E or vitamin C. But I want my patients to take all of this. What you realize is vitamin E and vitamin C are not drugs. They're simply nutrients we get from our food. But because we can supplement today, we can get them at levels you can't obtain from your food. This generation, you and I, walking on this earth, because of our polluted environment, because of our stressful lifestyles, because of our over-medication, we create more free radicals than any generation that's ever walked the face of this earth. And so, yes, our body makes some antioxidants, and yes, we get some antioxidants from our food, especially our fruits and our vegetables, but it's not enough. But because of supplementation now, we can bring things back into balance. So what I have found, when I looked at RX, I found that this is the key. They have looked at the worldwide medical literature, but instead, they have made it easy for me, my family, and my patients, because they put all of these essential nutrients in the optimals, optimal V and optimal M, at these advanced levels, those levels that have been shown to provide a health benefit in our medical literature. So my patients can take 3 optimal V and 2 optimal M in the morning with food, and again in the evening, and get all of the nutritional supplementation that I recommend for those who are protecting their health, who are healthy. They're not suffering from any illness, because the process is oxidative stress. We bring things back into balance, and over time, what I've learned, this needs to be part of a healthy lifestyle. It's not something you do for a month or 2 and then quit. Just like you have exercise. You need to eat a healthy diet, but you also need to be taking nutritional supplements. So when I switched over to recommending supplements to my patients, what I found is my doctor friends would come up to me and they'd say, "Ray, why do you recommend vitamins to your patients? Get a few arrows shot at you." But what I found is I said, "Well, have you ever recommended exercise to your patients?" And they said, "Well, yes." I said, "Well, why do you do that?" "Well, because I think my patients who have a modest, consistent exercise program have a health benefit over those that don't." I says, "Well, what do you base that on?" "Well, I base that on the medical literature." I said, "Well, then, when you recommend exercise, are you treating a disease?" "No." And I could say the same thing about a healthy diet. But what I have learned over all these years is my patients who take high quality, complete and balanced nutritional supplements, like RX, especially RX, they have a health benefit over those that don't. You significantly decrease your risk, not eliminate, but decrease your risk of many, if not all, of these chronic degenerative diseases. Nutritional supplementation, especially cellular nutrition, is about health and not disease. It optimizes your body's natural antioxidant defense system. But this same supplementation optimizes your body's natural immune system. And we have a wonderful repair system. And our body is optimized by these same cellular nutrition. And I recommend them for all my patients. Now, I just want you to know, and I can't go over all RX products, but I want to just pick one here to show you the uniqueness of what RX does. Because the other side of the coin is that we live in a toxic environment. Heavy metals and toxins slowly collect in our body. Well, I would, especially my patients who are suffering from an illness, I would send them to a detox center. And they would take a week or 2 off for work and spend $10,000 to $15,000 US to detox. Well, RX has given me another tool for my patients. It's Restorix. And Restorix is like a detox center in a bottle. And so now my patients can take a combination of what we call zeolite and chlorella that have both been shown to remove heavy metals and toxins from the body. So, but zeolite is not just an ordinary product. It has a patented form of zeolite that comes from Austria. It contains 2 patents. It has a patented micronization process used to make their zeolite much more effective, and it's actually received a patent in Europe as a medical device. So the micronization that they do is kind of a honeycomb effect, and it allows a bigger surface area. And why is that important? The reason that's important is because zeolite works much like a magnet. It has a negative charge, but all your toxins, mercury, heavy metals, your cadmium and lead, they have a positive charge, so it attracts it in the GI tract like a magnet. Hold on to it until it's eliminated from the body. Well, that's key in medicine, because what happens is that you have you get toxins and heavy metals out of your body that increase the amount of free radicals that you're producing. So remember, balance is the key. Well, on one side of the coin, you're building up your body's natural defenses. But now RX has Restorix that decreases the amount of free radicals you're going to produce. So you have fewer that you have to neutralize. So it's a very effective product that is there, and that's just one of the unique products. Now, I want to just give you an overview, because tomorrow I'm going to have a training getting into much more detail in how I practice nutritional medicine. And I hope many of you can be here to attend. But what I do is that I look at a triad, and this actually came out a little wrong, but the RX Optimals are the base of, I call that cellular nutrition. I recommend that for all my patients. I have all my patients start the RX Optimals, and there's a reason, because that's what the medical literature is actually based on. Now, I have patients who love to add MOA to the Optimals. It's like Batman and Robin. They work wonderful together. And again, MOA is a drink, but it contains over 36 superfoods that all have other health benefits in building up our immune system, providing more antioxidants, and then the Optimals supply the minerals and the other supporting nutrients. Now, I have many of my patients who are getting older in life, just like I am, and they're worried about osteoporosis or thinning of the bone. And so they want to add Magna-Cal D, which is a unique product again, because we've learned you want to be supplementing calcium and magnesium to a 1-to-1 ratio. And what we find is that it is great as also, I consider, cellular nutrition. Now, many of us don't get in enough omega-3 fatty acids, which create our body's natural anti-inflammatories. So many of my patients who are healthy want to add omega-Q, which is a wonderful, unique, high-quality omega-3 fatty acid supplement, and it contains CoQ10. Now, I deal with a lot of patients who are suffering from degenerative disease. They come in, they already have rheumatoid arthritis, or they have MS, or they have lupus, or they have cancer. And I add what I call enhancers to the cellular nutrition, which would be Banale, which we're going to hear about later, and also BioPro-Q, which is the standalone CoQ10. But I will get into more detail in the future, but I want you to know this book is now being sold in the back. What your doctor doesn't know about nutritional medicine, where I lay all of this out and I give the medical research to support everything I say in this book, and it's in Hebrew. It's been here for years. I used to get many consults from Israel because of my book here. It's been now translated in 30 different languages. And I'm excited to be able to come and be here. And But the sad thing I had is when I first started consulting people from Israel, I looked at what was available to you. There was not much in the way of supplementation because it's an unregulated market. The quality of supplements really varies, and that's been the hardest thing. So it's wonderful to bring in such a high quality product, RX, into Israel, because I know you will get results. And in the end, I am a results person. So what we'll do is that we want to transform your life. We want to protect your health. And this is just an introduction. Hopefully, many of you can be at our training tomorrow. But I want to thank you very much. And thank you.